you seen my Kickass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a live presentation of the Sim500 Classic Cup Series presented by Kickass Beef Jerky. Tonight is race 10 of 11 race season, and we're back at the Talladega Super Speedway for this installment. It's wide, it's fast, and it's going to be a lot of fun. My name is Kevin England, and tonight my friend in the booth is also the producer, Mr. Sim500 Joey Jatina. Joey, the season's coming to a close. And it's one of those key things to talk about. In 9 races, we've had 9 different winners.
The streak doesn't continue. It's a racetrack, Kevin, and I think it can. Talladega is known for first-time winners, so I'm excited to see what happens tonight. Kind of a short field tonight. Was expecting a lot more cars roll through the gates at Talladega, but still a lot of competition, and I'm looking for a first-time winner again tonight.
Coming into tonight's event, Mike Kelly leads the point standings. He's got 1 win on the season. He's one of those individual winners. He's got 21-point margin over Chad Coleman, Tyler Dalton, E.J. Rook, and Reed Rundle. Everybody in that top 5 has a win, and they're going to need another win, those second, third, and fourth place drivers, if they're going to want to catch Mike Kelly for that season-ending race next weekend.
Yeah, and again, we talked about the Talladega Super Speedway, the big one. Mike Kelly has the points lead. We've watched Tyler Dalton have a couple of problems over the last few weeks. He had a blown engine, I believe, at Auto Club, and then he's had an incident early in the last race. But this is a racetrack that Tyler Dalton does excel at. So it's going to be interesting if he can make up some ground on Mike Kelly tonight.
Yeah, Dalton has 1 win on the season and 5 top 5s, and that win came here. Race number 3 of the season. He won Talladega last time we were here, race number 3, and he's looking to see if he could be the first-time repeat winner. These drivers saying that these cars are a handful on this track a little bit. It's smooth, it's fast, it's wide, but with the 87 mod, you still have to get up on the wheel to get the car through the corners.
Yeah, from what I've heard, the latest changes to the car has made it extremely difficult to drive, really loose in the draft. So we're going to see a lot of guys, again, something you don't see here at Talladega, but they're going to be on ice in the corners. It's almost like driving a dirt late model. We talked about this a little bit last time we were here, but I think it's a little bit more tonight with, again, the changes, the 10-degree spoiler on these race cars. So look for some white knuckle racing in the corners.
Tyler Dalton won last time out, and he's going to start this race from the pole. He won the qualifying pole position with a time of 46.493. He bested Cole Dutton. It's the law firm on the front row, Dalton and Dutton. Dalton in the 9 starts first. Dutton starts second. Jeff Ryan always gets a good qualifying run. That number 3 is in the 3rd position. And Ricky Harden, our series admin, is going to start 4th here tonight on the outside in the 15. As you look at the field lineup, scrolling through, we'll keep going. Mike Kelly, your point leader, he starts off in the 6th position. Reed Rundle runs good on these big open tracks. The 43 is going to start 7th. Chad Coleman, persistent and always finds his way to the front early and then stays there, that 8th starting spot for the number 38. Jimmy Coleman, no relation, in the 31, starts in that 9th position. The 02 of Shannon Wood, he kind of hides out back for a lot of these races and then shows up towards the end and could challenge himself for a win here. He starts in the 10th position. Todd Kirkwood in the number 94 starts 11th. 12th starting spot for Robert Gillenwater in the 4. He's had a lot of good runs lately. Scott Simley in the 12 starts 13th. Glenn Campbell, Trans Service number 44, starts 14th outside row 7. Chris Stouffer, just an amazing run last week. First time he was here. He runs the 13th out of the 15th position. 16th starting spot for DJ Beverly. Aaron Bennett, the guy's been fast every time he showed up. The 33 is going to start 17th. Jimmy North in the 48 starts 18th. That's a name I recognize from many, many years ago, Joey. Jimmy North.
Jimmy, a great friend of mine. I've stayed in contact with Jimmy. He used to run the Jelly Belly sponsored paint scheme back 12 years ago. So we go way back. I'm glad to have him racing with us again. Jimmy's just started racing, I guess, in the last couple weeks, but really working on his craft, getting back to what he used to be back in the good old days.
This is a time of year where a lot of people, season's over in the real world, and they come and find their way, fill in their racing Jones by coming out and racing iRacing. Continuing through the field, Seth Harrelson in the 07 starts 19th. Randy Yoakum in the 20th starting spot, the number 8. John Zerke, Life Buoy number 71, starts 21st. Brian Wertman in the 66 starts 22nd. 23rd, Bill Schoonover in the 09. Corey Chester in the Nintendo car starts 24th. Doug Sigmund in the 04, 25th starting spot. Tim Wertman Jr. missed a week last week, but he's back with us here outside 13th row for the 83 of Tim Wertman Jr. 27th starting spot for Gerald Livingston in the 97, and it looks like Jeremy Rittenberg, not sure if he made the call, but he starts shotgun 28th on the field in the number 26. Pace car turns left. They're going to turn the field over to the attorneys, Dalton and Dutton. They're going to roll off. They're coming up through the gears here, looking at the starter, about to kick it off. And it is up to Dalton to slam that gas down, and he's going to do it. Off they go to turn number 1 for the first time.
Green flag's out. Tyler Dalton's going to jump out to the early lead here as he gets around the 2 of Tyler Dalton. I did it again. Strike one. Yeah.
They didn't even make it to turn 2 there, Joey.
They can't race around each other anymore.
I know. We should restrict that. They got single file right away with Dalton out front and Dutton right to his back bumper. Ricky Harden jumped up there and grabbed that 3rd position as they go into the banking for the first time on the north end of the speedway. Ricky Harden tight to that 3rd position. Then it's a little bit back to Mike Kelly. Going to keep an eye on Mike tonight, see if he has any problems. Everybody kind of hoping that they can figure out how to get in front of that Levi Garrett, number 5. Right behind him, Chad Coleman and Jeff Ryan come across the stripe to complete lap number 1. It continues to be Dalton out front with Dutton in chase. Now they're going to move up to that high side and see if they can make a run down the backstretch to wrestle that lead away from Dalton.
Week in, week out, it seems like it's the same guys up front every week. They know how to run these race cars, and yet again, here we see the favorites, Dutton, Dalton, Kelly, Coleman, they're all right there. Reed Rundle, who we saw win a race this year, is right there going, making his name for himself tonight early.
Yeah, right behind him is Mike Montesi. We watched him in practice. He got sideways off of turn number 2, got a little tap, got that car backwards, and the West Warwick Welding back bumper went up in the air. The car went over, slid on its roof, pirouetted, and then ended up down in the infield grass, and he's running a backup machine here. Up front, it continues to be Dalton leading Dutton, and Mike Kelly has wrestled around that 3rd position. He's way loose up off the corner, got up, maybe even scraped the right rear, but nonetheless, for where he is continuing to hunt that 3rd position.
2 cars completely sideways out of the corner. Kevin was the 5 of Mike Kelly, your points leader, and then right behind him, the 43 of Reed Rundle followed him right in the wall. Looks like both cars are going to be able to continue with no. I don't think it's going to slow them down that much. They look good in the draft.
Yeah, we did actually have a problem with Reed Rundle. He slid off that corner, turn 2, went up, caught the right rear, and unlike Kelly, he actually whacked it good enough to dent that right rear corner, and the whole side is wrinkled in. He's dropped back a little bit. He continues to soldier on, though, right now, running in about the 8th, 10th, 12th position, somewhere back there as they're mixing it up. Again, loose up off the corner, close to the outside wall, and the number 43 is going to have to catch his breath and see if he can get that car heading in the right direction.
Oh, Jimmy Coleman
up in the wall, number 38, high up off of turn number 3, missed the corner, and caution is going to come out.
Oh, and he is gone flying.
That's a NASA flight there for that car.
Was that the 8 of Randy Yoakum, I think, that made contact there with Chad Coleman?
Oh, wow. How about what a huge story we have here. Lap number 4, and Chad Coleman gets into the wall and then collected, and your second place points car, I'm not sure what happened there. The car just looked like it got that magnet turned up on its side, was rolling along that driver's side, and then came across the track and got
wow.
whacked.
You know, Darrell Waltrip would call that the hospital hobble, is what Chad Coleman just had, and Randy sent him there.
Wow, that's most unfortunate for Chad Coleman, and he's going to have his work cut out for him next week. This is going to take a big bite out of his championship, as that car, it was telephone pole high. I have to wonder what happened there. It just looked like maybe when you're running a sim, oh, that hurt to watch. When you're running a sim race, sometimes your wheel comes off your desk or whatever that may be, but it looked really strange. He went in the corner and just turned right, almost like he blew a tire, but that's not very typical in the sim here. So, yeah, not sure what that was all about, but huge, huge implications for the Chad Coleman number 38 here as we go under caution number 1 here on lap 4.
Well, the good news, Chad Coleman doesn't have very far to go, as he's just right next door in Georgia. So I'm sure he'll be hopping a plane or a car real quick to get home. But that just shows you, Kevin, these cars and the talent that Chad Coleman has, how hard they are to hang on to for someone like him to have trouble like that in the middle of the corner.
Well, these drivers probably were not anticipating a caution so early, especially since the field was kind of settled in, running, single file, mostly a couple double files here and there, but there's plenty of room to operate on this track that shouldn't cause problems. But I think you nailed it on the outset. Some of these drivers have had their hands full. It's difficult to drive this car. I can't imagine if you were on like the old Daytona with all the bumps and stuff, but this track, fairly smooth, but it still looks like these drivers have their hands full tonight.
Yeah, this car and this track prior to the update was probably the funnest thing you could do. It still looks it's as the funnest thing to do, but I didn't get a chance to turn any laps. I'd love to be out there right now, but yeah, these cars, this is not your typical super speedway race by any means tonight.
Couple new drivers joining us here tonight. Looking at that number 26 of Jeremy Rittenberg. That car, what is that? Mater? Is that the Mater paint scheme?
He pulled that out of the bushes for sure. Jeremy Rittenberg, matter of fact, I found him laying in the bushes. I reached out to him and said, "Hey man, where you been racing? Come over to Sim500, give us some run, give us a try." He loves the '87 car, and matter of fact, he was actually streaming in another race a while ago. And I said, "Hey, the server's open. You've got 10 minutes of the green flag," and boom, Mater made it.
Sporting a Blockbuster. Did you ever go to a Blockbuster?
I did. That used to be the funnest thing in the world to go do as a kid. I'd go and look for the racing videos, anything to do with racing. I remember we rented a Richard Petty movie way back when. Yeah. Now, no Blockbusters around anymore. So, the kids don't get to experience going and renting a VHS and having to rewind it and all those terrible things that we had to do.
Yeah, I mean, we're running the 87 Sims, so we get to talk about Blockbuster, where you used to go down to your local store to rent a movie. No streaming, none of that stuff. And it's kind of like cranking the window down in your car.
Absolutely. No internet, no cell phone. There's a lot of things that were a little different in 87 for sure.
87. When did sim racing come to be? Wasn't it around 87, 86?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. For me, it came around 2004. So what you guys were actually, no, I take that back. I ran the Bill Elliott game that he had out years and years ago. And
Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. That was my first, and it was around 87 or 88.
Those cars, the Pontiac was so sexy on that video game. But the problem is you didn't have steering wheels back then, so you had to tap the arrow buttons to get the car to turn. So I never was good enough to run it smooth. So I would just paint the car, wreck it, and that would be the end of it.
I raced with a joystick, if I remember correctly. Maybe it was a little later than that. If I think about it, 89, 90 was that. That's what was my first sim or game, as it may be. Okay, enough reminiscing. Let's come back to this race. Out front, it continues to be Tyler Dalton. He's led every lap so far. He's had Cole Dutton in chase. And Mike Montesi sitting there in that third position right now, or in the fourth position, outside row. It's Mike Kelly in that third spot. And how many races have we seen this season that number 5 in the early going up there in the top 5? It's been literally every race, has it not, Joey?
It seems like these first 3 guys, it's Dalton, Dutton, Kelly, and of course you mix in Chad Coleman, but of course out now with the last incident. But those have been the cream of the crop, the top 3 guys, and that's why they're the top 3 guys in points.
Lap 7 in the books. Lights are out on the pace car. We are about to release that pace car and give the field back to Tyler Dalton. Dalton's on the outside. Does that mean Dutton is our leader?
Yeah, leader has choice on the restarts.
So he chose the outside. Okay, fair enough. I don't know at this track why there would have been an advantage low or high. But anyway, as they roll through the trial over here, they can now see the starter, and the starter's going to drop the green flag on him, and it's going to be Dalton away. He gets the opportunity to step on the gas earlier than everybody else. He's going to take advantage of that, drop down to the low line. He's going to pick up Dutton in the rearview mirror, still side by side for third. Mike Kelly is going to get the advantage on the low line. Montesi right back there on the outside as the 3 of Jeff Ryan now starting to make some noise in the Good Ranch car. He's on that low line. He doesn't have any help, though, although the 5 is going to drop down and pick him up.
Some good cars here to bring back memories. The Goodwrench number 3, Dale Earnhardt, now on the bottom with Jeff Ryan behind the wheel. And as you mentioned, here comes Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly has rode back in the back enough. Well, I say back, top 3. It's time for the 5 car to get out front and get him some bonus points.
You could just see how loose these cars are. They're in the slip, as we call it, where the car is just drifting sideways coming off the corner. And the right side is just yawed out. And these drivers have to be really careful as they step off the corner and lose the banking to the straightaway, that they allow room on the outside for everybody to collect this. Oh, what a run to the inside. Jeff Ryan tight to the 5 bumper. He had a lot of momentum push for the number 7 Montesi car. And right now, as we see it, if you had scored it, the 5 is leading, but here comes Dalton to the outside. He's a little bit sideways up off the corner. Can he get enough momentum to come back to the stripe first? That Thunderbird is humming on the outside. He is going to lead this lap. He's going to deny the 5 the privilege. Mike Kelly still hanging tough on the bottom, painting that yellow line. He's wishing that somebody would tuck tight to the bumper. He's lost a little draft to Jeff Ryan, as Ryan has slipped off a little bit. Man, what a sideways run the 2 of Dutton had, but it carried so much momentum that both of them are going to clear the 5 down the backstretch.
This is amazing racing, Kevin. They're 3 wide, sliding all over the place. Mike Kelly, look at the 5 down the bottom. You can step back and just drifting out. He's still making that move to the front, still cannot clear the 9 of Tyler Dalton. That 9 car has just got it covered right now here at the Talladega Superspeedway.
I saw Ricky Harden go into turn number 3, and the car just did not set those right side tires. He drifted way up to the fence. He looked like he was hunched up in the seat from the in-car view, just trying to hold that car off the wall and not do what Chad Coleman did. He was able to collect it up a little bit, but those top 2 on the outside slipped away from him a little. As they run down the backstretch, here comes a big push from the 3 and the 7 to the back bumper of the 5.
Yeah, no, give another call to Jeff Ryan. A little sideways there, but he is absolute will in that number 3 machine right now. Montesi is kind of getting a little impatient as Montesi looks in his rearview mirror. He sees teammate Bob Gillenwater, another teammate right behind him, the Jimmy Coleman machine, and then the 0-2 now is Shannon Wood. That's 4 teammates right there at the top of the racetrack, and Glenn Campbell, of course, a part of that team. I told him earlier, I said, you got 50% of the field. One of you guys have got to win. So I'm pulling for that Sim500 Motorsports team tonight.
This might be speculation on my part, but going down the back straightaway, we did not see the 3 take advantage of that run he had to the back bumper of the 5. And I think he let off a little bit to get into the corner, and it opened that gap up. Montesi had to get on the brakes, went up high, and he just drove around the 3 car. Now he's sitting second in that low line. Will he go up and be able to push the 5 to the lead?
Well, that's something you mentioned a while ago, Kevin, lifting. You don't talk about lifting at a super speedway, but you are. Even in the Tri-Oval, these guys are lifting off the gas to get these cars. Oh, we got a big wreck in the back there, Kevin.
Yeah, yellow flag out here, lap number lucky 13, as Dalton is going to go around turn 2 and slow it down on the backstretch, wait for the pace car to pick him up, and everybody lifts off the throttle, and it's going to collect over there on the back of the speedway as we had trouble on the exit of turn number 4.
Another car went flying.
Yeah, it was a Valvoline car that we looked at earlier, but I forgot the number of it. Wow, that thing sailed just like... Is that something they've done with the sim physics? Is these cars are just getting absolutely airborne?
That's Doug Sigmund right there. No, it's the 08. It's Todd Kirkwood.
DJ Beverly in the
DJ Beverly.
Yeah. He just got sideways. Reed Rundle collected him, and then the 07 of Seth Harrelson, no place to go. Harrelson went down, locked him up, tried to stay off that inside wall. He did a good job to collect the car and drive away. Probably has some damage to the front nose after the contact to send the Beverly car completely sideways. But we talked about how loose these cars are coming into the corner, and there you saw it. Just looks like the DJ Beverly car got sideways going into the Tri-Oval, tried to catch it, and unfortunately got caught by somebody else sliding down the racetrack.
Man, when they hit hard. There is no doubt. They've seen 2 race cars going airborne 30 miles above the racetrack here. So I don't believe they'll get those cars back on the racetrack. Tough break for the 08 of DJ Beverly.
So the field picks up the pace car one more time, and you have to wonder, these drivers do have the opportunity to change tires, fill up fuel, and I think some of them may. Nope. Fake. Psych. They head to pit road, but then they come back on the racetrack. I guess they don't want to give up the track position here. The back half of the field, nothing to lose. They'll go down and top off the tanks, but it continues to be Dalton staying out front to lead this field, as they're all kind of looking at what happened with Chad Coleman. If I'm Dalton sitting there third in points, he was only 9 markers back from Chad Coleman. He's already made up that gap. If some fortune falls the bad way for Mike Kelly, Dalton, Reed Rundle, and some of these other drivers stand to come up there and get themselves into some possibility, Joey, that they could sneak away with a championship next time.
Absolutely. Kevin, while we have a minute, let's bring Tyler Dalton up and kind of get his perspective of what's going on out there on the racetrack tonight.
Hey, Tyler, this is Kevin up in the booth. You got a copy?
I gotcha.
Hey, it's been a good night so far. Started on the pole, been leading every lap. You've gotten a lot of challenges, but able to fend everybody off. Looks like you have a stout Ford Thunderbird under you tonight here at Talladega.
Yeah, so far so good. I knew we had a little bit of a deficit going into this race. I saw Chad had some issues, so about pretty much me and Mike right now. I'm trying to stay up here and lead every lap that I can, because every point's going to matter. Only got one race to go after this.
Speculation on our part. We know the sim did a major update yesterday and today, and a lot of drivers realized that some of the physics changed in the different mods. You feel any difference in the 87 mod tonight?
Not really, other than it's looser, but I think that's an updated setup. I think the rear spoiler is lower.
So how is this track to drive? We see your cars loose on the exit of the corners. We see them loose going into the tri-oval, putting a little wheel in it. Is it different when somebody's tucked in on your back spoiler?
It's a little bit different when there's someone behind you for sure, but it's already so loose that you're already expecting it to be loose, so it's not like a jarring looseness as you would get at some other tracks.
Yeah, I would imagine you don't want to give away all your strategies, but I would assume you just pit one time for tires and fuel here in the middle of this.
Yeah, also we can make it on one stop, so that's probably going to be the strategy.
So how do you keep all these guys behind you?
That's a good question and answer I wish I had the answer to.
Well, we know that you won race number 3, which was right here at Talladega earlier in the season. Is it going to be the double, the sweep here for Talladega this season?
I actually won Michigan early in the season, but then I won Talladega in the K&N car last week. So I've had some good success recently here at Dega, so it'll just be a crapshoot at the end.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to go look at my stats and fact check that. Well, look, lights are out on the pace car, and we'll let you get back into the cockpit there and get into business. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here.
No problem.
Tyler Dalton, your leader, number 9, out front. We're working caution number 2, started on lap 13 for contact over in the tri-oval. Reset in the field. It's still Dalton and Dutton out front. Kelly and Harden is 3rd and 4th. Montesi is in 5th. Ryan Gillenwater, Glenn Campbell, Aaron Bennett came from that 17th starting spot. He's running 9th. Jimmy Coleman in 10th to round out your top 10 in the number 31. As they roll down the backstretch here, Joey, and I look at where we sit in the race, 66 laps is the distance. At 16 laps. There's still a lot of racing left. These guys need to be patient.
Yeah, Kevin, it's like I'd say a lot of laps. Every corner probably seems like a mile right now with this car. I know Tyler said he's not really seeing a lot behind the wheel as a change, but I know we can see a lot of action out here on the racetrack as far as what they're having to do to keep these race cars underneath them. So, yes, it's going to be interesting. A very long way to go in this race.
Yeah, and of course, we're talking to the guy who has the best car in the show. He's been out front, had all the fresh air on that front bumper, and the cars looked really good. Some of these other guys in the pack, they, as we always say, race harder than the ones out front in a lot of instances. Pace car has made the left-hand turn. He's heading down pit road to protection. And again, Dalton and Dutton lead us back. They're coming through the tri-oval here, and we will look to see for Dalton to kick it off. He's got Ricky Harden right to his back bumper, as he did not get a great start, and a good start by the 5 of Mike Kelly, but boy, that car comes up through the gears on the outside, and he's able to jump down and cover the lead.
9 car back out front, still flexing that muscle. The reminiscence of Bill Elliott at Talladega. That car definitely knows how to lead here at the Talladega Superspeedway.
I always like to look at this part of the race and see who's kind of hanging back there and being conservative, leaving space, hunting that back end of the pack. And I'm looking at the Purelator number 13 of Chris Stouffer. Chris running in the 13th position right now, just kind of pacing himself, has been quietly staying out of trouble, but moving his way forward. Started 15th, sitting in 12th as he's underneath the 31 of Jimmy Coleman. They come through the tri-oval to complete lap 17, and you never know which one of these guys could sneak up and get themselves a win here at Talladega.
That being said, I'm pulling for the 0-2 of Shannon Wood. Shannon Wood goes back to the old days. We talk about sim racing, how long it's been around. 12 years ago, wrecking the back straightaway. Looks like the 94.
Yeah. Todd Kirkwood gets around, and unfortunately no place for the, well, that was a big contact back there. Which car hit him? The 09 maybe?
Looked like Schoonover, yep.
I'll tell you. Certainly, there has to be a contest for the Hard Luck of the Year award, and I would think that there's 2 drivers throw their hat in the ring. One of them is Bill Schoonover, and the other one is the number 6 of Corey Chester. Trouble finds them wherever they go. As the 94 of Kirkwood, that car is destroyed in the back, but he's able to kind of pull away, and I don't know if Schoonover was as lucky.
Yeah, the 09 machine heavily damaged. Look, the Schoonover car, the 09, got in the wall out of turn 2 as well. So it was literally 2 crashes that ran together, a little like there between the 09 and the 94.
So we find ourselves under caution again. Caution number 3 here, lap number 19 we're working, and the field once again going to collect behind the pace car. As we get to the 3rd mark, I still think it's probably too early, Joey, for them to pit and get some tires.
Yeah, probably so at this point. But you got to think, with these cautions, we're getting down to a little less of a field here. so that being said, is you go ahead and you get your tires now, and then you roll the dice, and if you don't have another caution, you're sitting pretty. So this would be kind of maybe the time, because I don't know that you're really going to need the tires so much here today, but I don't know. I mean, they may make a good bit of difference at the end of the race. But get them now, and then you get track position later when the caution comes out and everybody else has to pit.
Couple drivers heading to pit road. We see the 83 of Tim Wertman Jr. heading in. He's going to drop into his pit stall. Right behind him is the 12 of Scott Simley. And the other car I'm looking at, and they're going to take the opportunity to fix the damage, whatever they have, is the 43 of Reed Rundle. He could stay in there now since the caution laps are so long. And of course, he's just going to fill up with fuel and pull away. Maybe he's got all the damage he could fix. Pizza car looked like it's got a little bit of a cracked crust on the back.
Absolutely. Definitely not what Reed wanted to see early on in this race. Again, we're just 20 laps into a 66-lap event. But these wrecks, they have been big, Kevin. They've taken out a bunch of race cars. So, yeah, tough break for that Little Caesars Chevrolet.
So a good time during this caution to consider heading over to Kickass Beef Jerky's website, kickassbeefjerky.com. You can check out what they have, do a little holiday shopping, 19% off. To anyone watching, just use promo code Sim500. They've got beef jerky and a bunch more there. Kickassbeefjerky.com is the sponsor for this series, and we do thank them for coming on board and supporting us all season long. Season's just about to come to a close, and we will crown the Kickass Beef Jerky champion for this season next week at where, Joey, we were talking about.
Well, there was
Coca-Cola.
Hoping Coca-Cola, but I don't know that it's going to be available for next week. So Ricky Harden will make that determination where we finish the year out next. Hopefully tonight we'll know kind of where that goes. But it's not looking like Coca-Cola is going to be an option for next week, unfortunately.
So we can reminisce again about the sim racing heritage that we had back in the Papyrus days and the days where we raced NASCAR 2003 and all the sims that came before it, 99 and so on. We had the Coca-Cola Motor Speedway. Do you remember running that, Joey?
I do. And, ironically, I was with Sim500 years and years ago when they first came around. It was actually my first adminning gig. Myself and Brian Keselowski put together 2 series called Midnight Thunder and then Nocturnal Adrenaline on Saturday. Nocturnal Adrenaline was an ARCA series. That's back when Brian was running having some great success in the ARCA series. And then Midnight Thunder was a truck series, and it was primarily super speedways. Coca-Cola was the track. 8 Ball was another one of those famous tracks that we loved so much. So I'm really glad to see iRacing bring about some of the fantasy tracks. It's what we need. We need to bring those fun tracks back. And maybe they don't take as long to build, too, and we can get a little discount on them. We can just throw them together, nice, smooth tracks.
I ran those series with you guys. The 8 Ball was an figure 8 style track, right? Where it had a big bridge.
Yep.
Kind of reminded me of Le Mans, right? That one bridge in Le Mans. I don't know if that's what it was modeled after.
Well, it goes back for sure. And speaking of, I was just talking about, I'll bring them up here in the booth. I've got Shannon Wood up here right now. Shannon, we were talking about the old days of sim racing, and I said I was just talking about you and the relationship at Four Wheels Racing and your back. I know we're fixing to go back to Green Flag Racing, but how's the car tonight, man? Are you glad to be back sim racing? Wrong button, Shannon.
Can you hear me now?
We got you.
Yeah, I've been out of it about 10 or 12 years. Glad to get back into it, and thanks to you. And car feels pretty good. It was terrible in practice, but I've kind of settled in here, and hopefully going to get a decent finish out of this thing.
Yeah, Kevin, Four Wheels Racing goes back a long time ago. I've been on Shannon for years to come back racing. Finally, we get him back, and I told him a while ago, I said, so what night are you going to take over adminning? So he said, it took me 10 years to get him back sim racing. It's going to take another 10 years to get him back to admin. And Shannon, we're going to get you back down there, man. Good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Yep, so deja vu all over again. Pace car's off. We're going to turn it over to our attorneys. Wonder if we really could make a law firm and put it as a sponsor on the car. Dalton and Dutton are your top two. It's up to Dalton again to kick it off. And I'm looking back there at that number 33 of Aaron Bennett. He's quietly sneaking himself up and has proven to be fast every time he comes out to join us on these Thursday nights. As second verse, same as the first, Dalton jumps out front, but this time it was not Dutton clocking in there. It was the number 15 of Ricky Harden sneaking in. He peaks low. He is now side by side going down the backstretch. He's got a good run. I'll tell you what, he looks like he could possibly pull this off. Up, here comes the 9 with a little push from the outside. Although Harden's hanging tough, he's right there on the bottom.
We
Looks
really...
like Dutton
Yeah,
went in there to help him.
we really have not seen a car, which is really crazy. We've not seen a car on the bottom be able to do anything with Tyler Dalton. It's going to be interesting to see how you do get around the leader, because right now the bottom's not it.
Yeah, the strangest thing about the way these cars are behaving tonight is typically the drivers at a restrictor plate track and or a super speedway like to hug that yellow line. It's just in their DNA. And they typically gather on the bottom. That gains momentum to the bottom. But so far, the top line has just been the strongest. I think part of the situation is we saw Montesi go through the tri-oval there. He was sideways all the way through. The car was on the yellow line from the bottom, slid up across the white stripes. And I think it's really tough to do a tight corner here through these. As you see him come in through, the 7 car is sideways. And he's just not able to hold that yellow line and possibly scrubbing some speed off as he's sideways through the corners.
Now we go back to look at the front here. It's still Ricky Harden trying with everything he can to get back to the... Well, look, here we go. Ricky Harden does make the move. Just as we said you couldn't be done, Ricky did get a chance there to get in front of the 9, just could not pull up there and take the spot away. He's going to fall back, but now you got Mike Montesi going to put him 3 wide as Montesi to the inside.
Dutton was completely sideways on the entry to that corner, able to gather it up, tack back down, take that momentum, and drive in through. And here comes Ricky Harden now challenging. He's in behind the 2 of Dutton, and we'll see whether or not the outside lane could give him the speed he needs to be able to get past and hit somebody to wrestle away the lead from Tyler Dalton. See Mike Kelly just kind of pacing himself back there. I think he's looking at the fact that Coleman is out. The 2 of them split up last time. There was an incident with one, and then the other got involved, and both of them went. But right now, Mike Kelly, he could seize a big opportunity if he can finish this thing in the top 5.
Definitely Mike Kelly. That's something you talked about earlier, is he does have the points lead. He does have a little cushion. Is he in the safest spot? It looks like right now, being in the top 5, you are safe right now. I hate to say that. And as soon as we do, Mike winds upside down. Yeah.
The 3 of Jeff Ryan completely sideways through that corner. 5 is going to fill the hole where he was. Good save by Ryan, keeping that car heading in the right direction. Here comes Gillenwater to the outside, and man, you just have to say what an amazing job so far for the 9 of Tyler Dalton. He has held everybody back as they're Well, 3 wide for the lead. Here comes Kelly to the bottom. Dutton up against the outside wall. He's not going to be able to push Tyler Dalton. Kelly has a good lead coming out of turn number 4. They're side by side. It depends on who Montesi's going to go with. He's going to go with the 5. Will he give him a push? Could it be that the 5's going to lead this lap? Here comes Ricky Harden to the back. It is. Well, I don't know. I think the 9 had that one.
Yeah, like the 5 of Mike Kelly was a little sideways as he entered the triangle, and that's what killed his momentum and gave Tyler Dalton the lead back. But as we look at this, they've now shuffled the law firm partner Dalton out of the Dutton, out of the mix here. They pushed him back to the 5th spot. Now it's Mike Montesi and Ricky Harden now filling up the back glass of the 9 and the 5 of Mike Kelly.
They have not been shy about mixing it up in this top group as they've been swapping positions. And right now, finally, I'm pretty sure that the 5's going to lead this lap. He's been trying to lead a lap to get the points.
Oh, he's sideways again.
That's unbelievable that Dalton was able to surge ahead there and keep that lead.
Well, the last lap, basically what it looks like is if you're on the bottom, you're just going to kind of have to come up and use the 8 tires are better than 4 scenario. And Mike almost did that right there to the 9 Machida Dalton. Here comes Montesi now as they get a little sideways out of the corner. Montesi gets the run. He's going to shoot to the inside, 3 wide. Can Montesi come out on the other side with the lead?
If I were Mike, I would consider maybe trying to wrestle that high line away and see if you can get some way to get to the outside of that number 9. Montesi's in the same position the 5 was of Mike Kelly last time, but it's going to be the 9 leading that lap with the 5 pushing him across.
Well, I'm going to tell you, if there's a fast way around the track, Tyler Dalton's going to be there, and he is not giving up that top line for anything. So it's just going to take a slip up. And here it is. Montesi now gets a good run down the back straightaway. He's a half a car length from clearing the 9. If he can get around the 9 just enough and move to the top of the track, he does move up the track just a little bit. That was great strategy.
When the 7 looked like he could jump up in front of the 9, but chose the opportunity.
He needs to go now. Get up there, Mike.
Go, Mike, go. How about that? This time it isn't going to happen.
Well, he's going to lose the lead. He didn't go up. Dalton leads again.
No.
Yeah, you got to go to the top of the racetrack.
Incredible.
The cars are just not getting out of the triangle good on the bottom. They're losing every bit of the momentum they have. That's why Dalton's having no problems getting back to the start-finish line. There's Glenn Campbell on the wall down the back straightaway.
Hopefully we can keep this going, and we do. We're going to stay under green. Now this time the 5 is out front. Will he pull up to the high line? If he knows what's good for him, he'll pull up here at turn number 4 and cover that top lane, although he's so far out. We've said it. There's no way the 9 could do it this time.
Here he comes, the 9
trying. Here he comes, but the 5's going to cover it, and the 5 is finally going to lead. Lap 31, put it in the books. Second leader of this race, the 5, Mike Kelly, out in front. Now I can turn and talk to a driver I've been watching sitting back there. The 13, Chris Stouffer, running in that 5th position right now. Just car by car, lap by lap, little by little, sneaking up there to be in this mix. Now he sits right behind the stack of 2x2, running in that 5th position. And I have to wonder if he has something. We're looking for a candidate to be our 10th winner in 10 races. Is it going to be Chris Stouffer this go around?
Well, I tell you what, Mike Montesi definitely wants it to be him. He's charging hard on the bottom. But again, the bottom blues, the car just slides out from underneath him. Now it looks like Aaron Bennett, who was our last winner, he's now going to take that outside groove away from Mike Montesi and try to knock him back to the 4th spot.
Dalton looks like he just wants to come back up and take this on as he's back on the inside lane. And Seth Harrelson now coming in. It's always fascinating to watch drivers sneak in and see if they can get up there and wrestle away the lead. And now the 07 of Harrelson running in that 5th position.
Here we go now. Let's see if Tyler Dalton can hold the lead now as he's down the inside of Mike Kelly. And he has got the same faith everybody else has had. I was going to say, we'd really see how strong Tyler Dalton is if he holds the lead on the bottom of the track.
Yeah, new second place runner right now. Aaron Bennett has worked his way up in the police car. The number 33 sitting there in that second position, tucked right on the back bumper. He's going to look for the lead. Hunting down the backstretch. He's side by side with the 5 of Mike Kelly. Drives it deep down into the backing. He's going to sneak ahead and take the lead as they go through the corner. He's got the 9 of Tyler Dalton pushing on him. Dalton slips up a little bit. Kelly has to move up the racetrack to make sure there's no contact. That opens the door for Mike Montesi. Kelly's all alone on the outside. And for the first time tonight, another leader, Aaron Bennett, going to bring him across the line. Lap number 34 working. And we have crossed the halfway mark. And now it looks like business is picking up.
Yeah, tires are getting a little bit more used. They're sliding around a little bit more, so that's going to open this race up. Big move off the corner for the 33 of Aaron Bennett. Almost Dalton got in the back of him. He saved it. Dalton was able to back up the car enough to not put 33 in harm's way. Whoa, the 3 of Jeff Ryan hard in the corner.
We look through this field and we look back to even the 16th position, 1.6 seconds back. Tim Wertman Jr. still in that lead draft. And anyone in that lead draft, as you know, Joey, can drive up through with the right moves and be in contention to possibly win this race if they can start making their moves early enough as we get the laps closing down. So still anybody's race out here, but so far, by far, the strongest car tonight has been the 9 of Tyler Dalton.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that goes back to most of the season this year. It's been Dalton, it's been Kelly. But yeah, it's, that 9 car in a super speedway has been very tough. There's Mike Kelly now to the bottom. We're going to see if Mike Kelly now can pull this thing off. This would be the first time he's led tonight if he gets across the start-finish line. Pull up the track, Mike. Oh, big wreck, Montesi. The 33 of Aaron Bennett. God, this could be the entire field.
Tyler Dalton is involved in that. He's spinning across the line. We see Jeremy Rittenberg down in the grass, Bennett in the grass. Outside against the outside wall is the 4 of Gillenwater. This pretty much collected a vast majority of those cars running up there in the top 10.
The points leader is the only car that was not in that wreck, I believe, Kevin.
Yeah, and this is a sign of running up front. Hopefully you can outrace troubles, and the 5 has been up front all season. That was a huge melee over there on the front stretch going through the tri-oval, and it all started up front with the 7 got tagged by the 33. Not sure what caused the 33 to come down, but track just totally blocked, and just about everybody. I think maybe the last car got through unscathed.
Yeah, that was a big wreck. It is going to be interesting to see who is actually left that can contend at this point. Yeah, it was the 33 car, Aaron Bennett, just a little loose out of the corner, and that was the end of it. Montesi, wrong place, wrong time, and again, that would be the rest of the field in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, I could imagine that they're having quite a few conversations with their spotters and with some of the other drivers, and a lot of the drivers pull away. They're going to have to take the grass off the grills, and well, we're past the halfway mark, so I expect everybody to come to pit road, and that's what we're seeing. The 5 is going to lead the charge. Half the car is going to come down, change tires, fill up with fuel. The other half are going to change tires, fill up with fuel, and fix the damage they had from that big incident over here on the front straightaway.
Well, once we get pit stops done, Kevin, on the 5 machine, definitely would like to pull the points leader up and talk about the way he's living, because I'm telling you, man, the only car not to be involved in that wreck, what an amazing feat that was for Mike Kelly in the 5.
Yeah, I think I saw maybe one car sneak through. I'm trying to figure out. It looked like a red car.
Well, there's a couple that still look good. The 2 car of Dutton looks good. The 3 of Jeff Ryan still looks good there. So it wasn't a lot of big, heavy hits for some of those guys. But again, it was like a bowling match over there coming to the Tri-Oval.
Yeah, one of the cars that I saw go by here looked like to be in good shape is the 71 of John Zerke. That car is straight all the way around. he kind of kept himself out of trouble. It must have been the Cole Dutton car. That's the only red car that I could spot, unless we had a retiree. I saw one car way in the back, and I'm not sure where Dutton was when that melee occurred, but yeah, that was a big crash. Not a lot of hard hits, just a lot of pinball contact.
Well, speaking of, we've got Mike Kelly, the points leader and the luckiest guy in Talladega. Mike Kelly, how are you living, brother?
Speaking of pinballs, is that what you're saying? Yeah, that was holy shnikey. I made the move at the right time there, didn't I?
Absolutely. Mike, talk to us about, we've watched you battle for the lead. You've been on the bottom of the racetrack, but nobody was able to do anything with that top lane, struggling through the travel to get that drive off. Talk to us about the way these cars are handling.
Yeah, apparently we've got a little bit more spoiler lay back here from this new build and the new setup, or the current setup, and it's a little squirrely. I mean, once it gets tires heated up and you get going, I don't feel like it's a heck of a lot different from before, but you got to be on your toes for sure, and the dynamic track or whatever has definitely made that middle-ish groove really good, and I hate to race that hard battling for the points championship, but I was trying to get 5 points for leading a lap, and of course, Tyler was fighting me hard for it, obviously, nothing wrong with that, but the more he fought me to get it, the madder I got and the harder I raced, so I've been racing pretty hard.
Well, it's been awesome to watch. Kevin, you got anything for Mike before we let him go back down and get back in the seat?
Yeah, Mike, how do you keep the car, like, are you trying to race conservative and make sure you have a lot of space? We know that you tried to lead a lap, and we chronicled that struggle all the way through, but now what do? Do you race defensively and just try and make sure there's space around you?
Well, EJ's not here, and Chad and Tyler have had trouble. So I think you're going to see me in a pretty conservative mode here, but looking to get a top 5 at least for sure. But I can win it, We'll see what happens.
Well, that's the thing right here, Kevin. Looking at this, yeah, Mike's, Coleman second in points out of the race. Now he was 21 back. Tyler Dalton 30 points back, just involved in that wreck, upside down. And EJ O'Rourke, the 41 machine, didn't make the tow to Talladega. So Mike Kelly sitting in a great spot. Mike, good luck for the rest of the race.
Nice. Have fun.
You see quite a bit of attrition in this race. It's taken its toll. Brian Wertman, Todd Kirkwood, Bill Schoonover, DJ Beverly, Jimmy North, Chad Coleman, and Randy Yoakum, along with Hard Luck Corey Chester, are out of this early. We have about 18 cars on this lead lap. One lap down is your 9 of Tyler Dalton. He's your third place points car. He can get the lucky dog. I'm guessing we're not done with cautions here, Joey, but that car, a little dinged, a little damage, front and rear. It's not going to be great, out front as it has been all night long.
The only thing Tyler Dalton can hope for, and hate to say this, but another big crash that helps him recover tonight. That 9 car is beat up. I hate to see it. Tyler's had a great car all year long, and just like you said, over the last few weeks, the blown engine and then just the unfortunate incidents have basically taken him out of title contention.
And as you know, I've been looking at that 5 of Mike Kelly. He's a sim racer. He's been doing this forever. He's been around as long as I think you and I, if not longer. From the beginning, I remember racing with him, and he knows what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And right now, out front, he is kicking the gas as they go across the stripe. He has all the confidence in the world and the right strategy to get it to the finish line. I think he's got a big challenger right there in his back bumper on the number 2 of Cole Dutton. That car looks clean, and we know it's fast. If I'm Mike Kelly, I'm just going to try and mind my P's and Q's and see if I can get out of Talladega with as many points as possible.
Well, right now, Mike Kelly goes in the final race without a whole lot of stress, unless he's involved in something and he loses the points that he's gained here right now. Mike Kelly's still out front. He's dropped to the bottom of the racetrack. Is at the 3. It looks like, that's the 3 of Jeff Ryan now has gone to the top of the racetrack with help from Ricky Harden. We've talked about him all night. He's had a great race to this point. Now he's going to try to put that Goodwrench Chevy out front.
Yeah, that 3 car has looked a little sideways to me. You know how it goes. You're in influence of how the car runs, whether you run it in the corner, how much wheel you put in. You're almost always running wide open, and that 3 car has looked pretty nervous to me. So I'm not sure where he lands tonight. But Ricky Harden, he's had a fast car all night long, and that number 15, I think he's hungry for a win.
Yeah, definitely. The series admin, Ricky's done a heck of a job this year on and off the racetrack. Looking for a little luck. He's had some bad luck himself. Oh, 71, Seth Harrelson now. He's involved. He's spinning.
71 of John Zerke around. We were just talking about how clean that car was. And, yeah, there's a car pirouetting on its roof. Finally, is it going to come to a stop? Yep, on its roof. It's the 07. And it finally comes to a stop. Seth Harrelson, the left rear wheel still spinning on that car as he got airborne, and then the car just meandered down the racetrack to the apron. Still sitting there upside down as the safety crews are going to have to come to the attention of the Harrelson car.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, the contact between the 43 and the 71, that's what caused that accident. Well, the 71 just sideways, nowhere to go for the 43 of Reed Rundle, and boom.
Such a helpless feeling when you're sideways, you got the car locked down, you try and get on the throttle, but you know you're going to drift back out onto the racetrack, and you just hoping by whatever that you don't get hit, and unfortunately that's the case. Is they were able to load that 07 up and take it down into the pits, and it's sitting down there getting some damage fixed, but that car is used up.
Absolutely, the day is over for that machine. Oh, man, that's a tough break. And again, just another race car getting completely sideways. And we've seen a bunch of crashes tonight. Basically, Kevin, just the back end coming out from underneath them and just guys nowhere to go.
So trouble found us quickly on the restart, and updating one of the stories we see is the 9 car of Tyler Dalton never left pit road. They were fixing that car for damage. I think they're still kind of working on that car. I can see the car is fired up. The fuel coming out of the side indicates it's still running, but they have not pulled away. And as I look at the scoring monitor, Tyler Dalton is now 5 laps down as the field goes by. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get that Zone 15 Ford Thunderbird back into the run here, as he's sitting there in that number 1 pit stall as the crew's trying to figure out what to do with him.
Yeah, it's a tough break for the 9 machine. On a positive note, Kevin, we'll shift gears a little bit to the 31 of Jimmy Coleman. We got Jimmy here on the radio. Jimmy Coleman, the 31 Mountain Dew Chevrolet. You're up in 3rd spot, man. Tell us about how the night's going for you.
So far, so good. Just trying to get a feel for this car. Trying to stay out of trouble, too. Try to keep it clean and hopefully get to the front here shortly.
Yeah, tell us about this car. We've talked to a bunch of guys tonight. We watched them struggle trying to get the lead on the bottom. I guess they've talked about the spoiler being laid back more. From the last time we ran the car at Talladega, how much different is it for you tonight here?
To me, it's a lot different. It's a lot more loose. Going in these corners, you got to really throttle it a little bit to keep the car straight. So hopefully we can keep our nose clean and get up to the front and bring home a W.
Awesome, Jimmy. We'll let you get back down to it, and we'll watch that 31. Hopefully see you in Victor Lane tonight, brother.
I hope to see you there, too.
Wait, I have one quick question for you, Jimmy. Is the car bottoming out at all going through the corners?
Just a little. You can feel it going to like into 1 and 3. You can feel it, especially in the draft, because we're hitting such high speeds. You can really feel it bottom out.
It looks like every once in a while entering the corner, the car bottoms out and you have to chase it up the racetrack. I was just wondering if that's what we were seeing from the spotter stand over here.
That is correct.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. We'll let you get back to business. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Well, while we got it, we've got some time here. How about the number 3 car? We'll let you have Jeff Ryan here in the booth with you, Kevin.
Jeff Ryan dialed you in on the radio there. Let's see if you got a minute to talk to us as the lights are out on the pace car coming up, but we have a moment to see if you can chat with us. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
We're doing all right. Looks like you've had a handful. That car has been sideways quite a bit, but you're really competitive sitting up there in that top 5.
Yeah, it's a handful. It's a little loose coming off, but if you hang on to it, it's a ride.
What do you think? Is tonight the night you get win number one?
I'm gonna try for it.
You got a tough pack of cars sitting right up there in front of you. Of course, that number 5, everybody's looked at a target for him, but the 2 looks awful fast up there in Cole Dutton, and yeah, some of these other guys are hungry too.
Yeah,
But you got a black
Yeah,
number
there's-
3.
yeah, that's what I'm
That's
hoping
got to
for.
count for something, doesn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, it's got a couple of them scared.
Well, I would be intimidated seeing that car, and you're one tough customer. You've had a good run tonight. We're working lap 43, about 20-something laps thereabouts to get the job done. How do you get it done? You got to get yourself out front?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get out front. I'm gonna try to sneak up here and get up on Ricky Harden and see if I can get up there. If I can hang with him a little bit, maybe we can pull something off.
All right, well, hey, we're having a blast watching you guys race. You keep that thing headed in the right direction, and maybe we'll be talking to you in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Jeff running in the 5th position right now. Lap 43 is where we're at in this race. Let's bring you the lineup as they run. Cole Dutton is your leader. Ricky Harden in 2nd. Mike Kelly 3rd. Jimmy Coleman in the 31. Just talked to him. He's running 4th. Then we talked to Jeff Ryan running 5th. Glenn Campbell, 44, is running in the 6th position. Chris Stouffer in the 13th. Still kind of lurking back there in 7th. Reed Rundle. Car is damaged, but he's still giving it a go. 8th position. Aaron Bennett in the 33. Last winner we've had on the series. He's running 8th. Tim Wertman Jr. up to 9th. And Mike Montesi, even with all his troubles, running over there in the top 10. Just about to turn the field over to Cole Dutton. They roll through the banking here in the Tri-Oval. Looking at the starter stand, it's going to be up to Dalton to slam the gas and fire off to turn number 1. We see flames coming out of the side of the 31 of Jimmy Coleman as he anticipates. All the cars get that bop in the back when they hammer on the gas, and there they go off to turn number 1. Harden, good run on the outside. He draws even with Cole Dutton as they run side by side through the corner. Who's going to lead coming to the back straightaway? It is a strong run for Dutton on the shorter side. He's going to lead coming down to the backstretch, but Harden has some help with Jimmy Coleman.
23 laps to go here at Daytona, the Kickass Beef Jerky 87 Classic Cup Series. Kevin, we're down to 16 race cars, started with 27. It's been a night of attrition, but we're getting down to the checkered flag. Here goes your man, Cole Dutton, clean machine out front, and now battle with Mike Kelly out of turn 4.
Dutton came out of turn number 4, decided he wanted the high line. He's seen how good that's been all night long. He jumped up there in front of Ricky Harden. He's going to take the lead and run across the stripe in first. Mike Kelly has been on the bottom side. He's been a bottom feeder all night long, and he continues to paint that yellow line. Dutton moves back up in front of Ricky Harden as the Coleman car comes in and makes it 3 nose-to-tail cars to the outside. Good run by Jeff Ryan right now. Can he do something with it? He tucks in on the bumper, but I think he had to let off as everybody bottled up going into turn 3.
Big move there. Jimmy Coleman sideways. I thought the 3 was going to shoot the inside. Jeff Ryan thought better of that, backed out a little bit to give Coleman the chance to collect the car. He did. We stay green.
Aaron Bennett came back into the mix. He's sitting right back there behind those leaders, watching what's going on out front. Now, Mike Kelly able to hold that lap. I don't think he led it, but he was out front just past the start-finish line. It continues to be 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 through that top 10 as they go to the back straightaway one more time. We see the 33 of Aaron Bennett right behind the back bumper of the number 13 of Chris Stouffer. Those two seemed to work well together last time. I wonder if they have a plan to see if they can go up and wrestle this lead away.
Man, what a move. I don't know if you saw that out of the corner of your eye. It was a bullet. It was Cole Dutton. He was at the top of the racetrack, shot all the way to the bottom of the track to block Mike Kelly, and got a big separation. And the field closes right back to the bumper of the 2 car. That was an aggressive move right there by Cole Dutton.
I have to agree. As nervous as these cars have been to shoot that gap from the top lane down to the bottom or vice versa, is a proposition where you could break the car loose, but Dutton, he definitely has control of the car. Is once again the 3 completely sideways off of turn number 2 over there. He's able to gather it up there as the top 4 have broken away. Top 5 have broken away a little bit.
Kevin, I got to give a shout out to my good buddy there in the 44, the Trans Service Logistics Chevrolet of Glenn Campbell. Glenn is a super speedway ace, if you will. He's a Trans Service Cup winner we have here on Monday nights. Won at Daytona this year. So he is a winner in the Cup Series. He is now flashing his brilliance as he takes, I just said Glenn Campbell and brilliance. I think you can send me a check later. Anyways, Glenn Campbell having a great race right now. Does have a little damage to the right side of the car, but showing nothing to hesitate him to get to the front.
Yeah, he's not been in the mix all night, but here he is hunting the lead as we're coming down to it. Mike Kelly, good car to follow, learn, and stay out of trouble as we saw before. And I got to give a call to Ricky Harden. Probably the best race he's out all season. He's been hunting that top 5 all night long. The cars look strong. And I really think that some of these drivers have been content to ride this season, but as the last couple races come about, they want to get a W in the win column.
Inside of 20 laps to go this time around, 18 to go. It's still Mike Kelly and Cole Dutton. I didn't want to call him Tyler Dalton. There he goes back to the bottom of the track to block Mike Kelly. Going to hold the bottom off of the corner. Mike Kelly looks to the outside. Dutton to the block on the outside of 4 or 2.
Mike Kelly not going to waste any time, still trying to wrestle that lead away. He jumps down to the bottom. He's going to come out and pull a car length ahead going in the corner. But we've seen the top lane be the strong run off the corner just about every time. Number 5 has help from the 44, and that's going to allow Mike Kelly to clear. He jumps up to that high line. He's going to get in front of the Cole Dutton car as the 31 of Jimmy Coleman down there on the bottom looking to see if he can help the 44 of Campbell come up and contest, and it still is Ricky Harden being persistent back there in that 5th position, just holding on right there in that top 5.
It's interesting, Kevin. The guys were at the top, but it seems like they're trying to make the bottom work right now. Cole Dutton now down challenging Mike Kelly. We'll see what kind of move he makes as they go into turn 3. You got to slide. It's like the dirt job, this slider. Dutton completely sideways below the yellow line. He doesn't even back out of it. Still maintains his momentum and is going to lead off of turn 4 back to the top to again take the fast lane away from Mike Kelly.
It was almost a Rowdy Bush moment. I wanted to update the 9.
Oh, another one.
Of Tyler Dalton. He did get the car repaired. He is out there. He is running 5 laps down. He's off the pace by himself in the 17th position. But from a point championship standpoint, if some of these drivers have problems, he could pick up a couple more points. As we see the 0-2, Shannon Wood in the wall off of turn number 2. Car is able to wrestle off, and he's going to lose that lead pack, but continues down the back straightaway. Trouble for the Crown Chevrolet of Shannon Wood off of turn 2.
Also, Jeff Ryan made contact. Didn't lose as much momentum, but look out front. We've got a lead change at Sim500 Motorsports. Glenn Campbell to the front, and what a great move as he pulls up to block the 2 of Cole Dutton. Jimmy Coleman, teammate, to the inside, and Mike Montesi, who's been quick all night, again, right there with him. You got, Coleman sideways off into turn 1. May have been a little contact there. And we've got another crash.
In the car,
and there goes the 3.
Spectacular crash. Coleman involved. He's up in the air. We see Reed Rundle in the outside fence. Everybody taking evasive action. We saw the number 13 go down into the apron. Not sure if he made contact as Doug Sigmund in the Busch car rides through quietly, and a lot of contact for several cars over there off of turn 2.
Yeah, look, Jimmy Coleman got to the apron. Back that up one more time there. Just completely sideways, got below the apron. No contact was made there by Montesi, but he just moves up the track in front of the 3, and boom, there's another big one. The 4 car is airborne again. There's another car that went into NASA, to space.
And is he going to end up on his roof? Indeed, he is.
Man, Bob he's had a rough night tonight. Bob's luck has turned around for the better of late. He won again. He's a Trans Service Cup winner this year at Talladega, and just bad luck tonight. That 4-car's been in quite a few wrecks tonight.
Yeah, he ended up side saddle over there, and once again the 5 is able to stay out front of all of this. And I was watching the 04 of Doug Sigmund, just seeing what he was doing. He saw that incident occur. We saw him lift, get on the binders, wait, saw the hole, and drove through it cleanly. And you know what? He's just kind of pacing himself. And you have to think about some of these drivers, Joey. I'm a fan of this. Is just ride out back for a little bit, and then in the last 10 laps you can charge. It's a terrible strategy sometimes from an excitement standpoint, but sometimes it pays dividends. And you know, we see some of these drivers heading to pit road. This is an opportunity to fix damage. We see Chris Stouffer going in. 12 of Scott Simley. That car is beaten and battered on all the corners. See the 33 going in one more time. Aaron Bennett getting some service done. Gillen Waters down there. They're trying to beat out the side of that car. As quite a few cars took damage in that one, Joey.
Well, I look down. Mike Montesi is walking out of the infield care center. Mike Montesi, man, you've had a great car all night, just in the wrong place, wrong time, man. How you feeling after that big hit?
I've never been to space before, but until today.
What was it like?
I don't know. All of a sudden, everything just went blank, and then I was in the pits. I must have blacked out.
And then you wound up here with us.
Like that SpaceX rocket this week.
Well, I was lucky to not get too much damage in that first wreck. I got spun, but we got back going, and we were going to be a contender there.
Well, definitely, Mike. It was great seeing you out front. It looked like the team was working real well tonight. What was your stance on the car and that reduction of the spoiler tonight? How was it handling for you overall compared to the last time we were here at Talladega?
Well, I think they went a few degrees too far, to be honest. I thought the car raced great in the last race, but it was a little tough for some of the guys.
Well, Kevin, you got anything for Mike? We're going to let him get back to the hauler, and we'll check out with race leader Glenn Campbell here shortly.
Yeah, only apologies for you, Mike. We'll look for you at the season finale, and it was fun watching you racing tonight. Sorry for your luck.
Great. Thanks for having me. Take it easy, guys.
Well, Kevin, we got race leader Glenn Campbell. Glenn Campbell, it was just a matter of time before he got you up here to interview you a little bit. The 44 Trans Service Cup Chevrolet out front. Tell us about your night so far.
Hey, Joey, it's been an eventful night, really. I was running mid-pack, 10th, 11th, hanging in the back of the pack there. Lucky for me, I hit the wall, which grazed it, and I dropped back about 4 seconds and missed the big one. So that's the biggest part, and I took the tires, fueled her up, and she's out ride right now.
Well, one thing we've seen tonight is don't stay on the bottom. Take the top of the track and don't come off the bottom. Kevin, don't you agree? From what we've seen, stay on the top of the track, Glenn. You win the race.
I see. Okay, I mean, you guys have been watching for sure, but it seems like the bottom is faster. But I'm listening to you. Good advice.
Are we allowed to coach the drivers, Joey?
There's no rule against it. Tell him what you think, Kevin. Tell him where he needs to be.
Stay to the outside. Coming off of turn 4, over the outside. The outside lane has prevailed to the start-finish line. You watch the race, you'll see. Every
lead has basically been to the top of the track. So we're no more coaching. If we have to do any more, you're going to have to pay us some of your check at the end of the night, Glenn. Good luck tonight. We look forward to seeing you in Victory Lane, hopefully.
It's a heads up.
I have a feeling that we didn't tell him anything that Cole Dutton doesn't know sitting on the outside there, and Mike Kelly. So, yeah, a little breach of etiquette, but I don't feel bad about that.
Well, you can lead a horse to water, right? But I don't think Glenn's going to listen to us.
Here's the question. Will he follow the advice? Who would listen to a broadcaster? What do they know?
He thinks the bottom's going to work. We'll see. Maybe he slides up and it does work. Who knows? But it'll be interesting here. 12 laps to go. We'll take the green flag with 11 laps left. It's been an attrition field race now. You mentioned Ricky Harden multiple times. Not Ricky now is a lap down that 15 car. Lots of damage.
For Harden.
Yeah.
He had such a good run going. Same thing with Jeff Ryan.
Yes, Jeff Ryan, somebody we've talked about quite a bit. Ricky Harden, again, the only car a lap down right now. So that puts us with only 11 cars on the lead lap right now. So it'll be interesting here as we get to closing this race down. Will we see another big one? Is there enough cars for another big one? That is the question.
Well, I also look at some of the storylines. The 9 of Tyler Dalton still riding around out back, and we know that Montesi went to the garage, so he's going to pick up additional points for that. So he should just continue. And that storyline we talked about, the potential to pick up some more points and stay as close as possible. It's still playing out. And look at who's in fourth. You got Tim Workman Jr. now running in the top 5.
Tim Workman Jr. I was looking the 04 of Doug Sigmund. You got Shannon Wood back up there in the 02. The 12 car right there is Scott Simley, who's had an up and down day. He's there. Let's get back to action. Green flag drops. Glenn Campbell a little shaky on the start. Cole Dutton's actually going to beat him to the line.
It looks to me as if Dutton and the 5 of Kelly are the only 2 cars that do not have wrinkled fenders. They're the cleanest ones. And I think you could say that that's because they've been out front the most. Right now, it is Dutton leading off of turn number 2. He's got Glenn Campbell in tow. Glenn's right to that back bumper. Looks pretty racy. Is he going to duck down? He is. Dutton unable to cover the spot. Side by side going into the corner. Campbell looks like he wants to win. He's leaning on the 2. 8 wheels are better than 4. He's going to push the 2 up the racetrack a little bit. Can he get out and clear the 2? He's not going to be able to do it. 2 of Cole Dutton gets the surge off the corner. He's going to power to the outside, pull ahead. He'll be able to lead this lap handily, but Glenn Campbell still is a nuisance down on the bottom. Mike Kelly comes to the outside. First time we've seen that tonight as the Levi Garrett number 5, now running high in the banking over there in turn number 2. He wants to come in and challenge. We're working lap 57. 57 of a 66 lap event. So these drivers know time is running out here to get themselves up in position for a win.
Coming to 9 laps to go, we talk about the race winning streak of new winners or different winners. Right now, there's only a few guys that can keep that going. That's the 44. Sounds like we got contact going. Yeah, another caution's out.
Yeah, trouble out in the back of the pack. Maybe for the 15th, not sure, but we're under caution one more time, and this is going to bring the field back together. We're going to run these final laps down here, and now it's going to be full court press for these drivers as they're going to only have 1 or 2 shots at getting themselves up in for a position of a win.
Yeah, the 48 of Jimmy North, again, making his series debut here in the Kickass Classic Cup Series at Sim500. Obviously beaten and battered. We'll see what happened to Jimmy. Off in the corner, all by himself, sideways, and boom, the hospital hobble. The Lowe's car is done.
Yeah, he plunked that wall pretty hard. It looked like Michael McDowell at Texas going across from the apron and up into the wall. Super hard hit for the Jimmy North car number 48. He was able to drive away, but smoke trailing from that car, and it's going to be severely damaged. And I would think that they'll take that to the garage, but hard to say. They might be able to tweak a couple more laps out of it as we come under caution again. How many cautions? I think this is, 6?
Seventh caution right now, 19 laps under caution. So it's been eventful. Again, we talked about the attrition. We're now, still at 11 race cars right now. Jimmy North, who was involved in that wreck, was 31 laps down the 21st position. So all the guys on the lead lap were safe at that through that caution.
Well, up front, it has been Dutton holding serve over this field. He's replaced Dalton, who led the early parts of this race, but he's getting a good challenge from Glenn Campbell. Even though Glenn's car has got a little damage on that right rear, the car looks pretty racy, Joey. I think he can stay with him. I don't know how the car is out front, but certainly the car is fast enough on that low lane with a little help from behind.
Well, if he would have just listened to us, he would still be in the lead of this race, wouldn't he?
And you'll have to remind him of that after this event.
Oh, don't worry, I will. Ricky Hard now has issued the lucky dog, so that'll put us with 12 race cars on the lead lap. Kevin, excuse me. While we have a minute, let's pull up a guy we've talked about. We saw him in a wreck earlier, but one of your favorites, Tim Wortman Jr., as Tim is now running in the 5th spot. Tim, Joey and Kevin up here in the booth, you got a copy?
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey, doing great. How are you doing? You're running up here in the top 5 with a handful of laps to go.
Yeah, it's I've been waiting, and these cars have been really, really loose tonight, and just played it in the back and waiting for the right time to get up here, and just hope she sticks going into the corner.
You got just a smidge of damage here and there, but the car looks like it's pretty sound. Is it good in the draft?
Oh yeah, you can't even tell.
Yeah, so up front it has been the 2 of Dutton, and obviously the 5 has been strong all season long. How do you beat those 2 guys?
With the way this car's handling tonight, I really, to be honest, I don't know. I'm stuck on the bottom, and I have nothing I can do on the top without getting loose.
Well, can we give you some advice, Tim? We tried to give a driver some advice a while ago. His head's harder than the racetrack. Go to the outside. It can hold, Tim. It can hold.
Okay, well, if I get a chance here, we'll play with that.
Especially on that last lap coming off of turn number 4. Get to the outside if you have the chance and make the run. We're just kind of trying to set up another first-time winner here, so don't disappoint us, Tim. No pressure.
Tim, I appreciate it. It'd be cool to get up here and at least get myself a podium here in my first season at Sim500.
Take care, Tim. Good luck out there and bring that Ollie's Chevrolet to victory lane. Hopefully we'll be talking to you shortly, man. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
So Joey, talk about heritage of sim racing. Tim's father was the guy for me that started all of this when I started racing back in the late 80s, early 90s. Or wait, let me think about that. Right after Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge that we talked about, when I ran offline, he ran the North American Simulation Series. He always ran number 43, and I had never heard of it, but his sponsor was Shake Shack. And now they're everywhere. And just a lot of affinity I have for Tim Wortman, and obviously I'm going to root for Junior here and would like to see him do well just out of nostalgia. And it's neat when you come back into sim racing. I've been out for 10 years to come back and recognize a lot of these names. We talked about Jimmy North. We talked about Schoonover and Mike Kelly, and Wortman is another name that ranks high up there on my fondness of friends that I had in sim racing. And it's really cool to see Tim having a good night here.
Well, that's awesome. And Kevin, I'll go another step further with you. As far as I was a fan of you back in so many, I don't want to say years ago, but the voice of Sim500, been involved with sim racing, a voice that is synonymous that we've heard for decades. We go back and look at some of the videos on YouTube you call on the races. So I think I've beat you up over the years and sent you a few messages here and there about coming back. So the great part about this is that Sim500, again, as a group of guys that have been together for a very, very long time. We all wind up coming back together. Call it a dysfunctional family. We all love to hate each other, but it's a great place to race. 7 nights a week of racing. Very fortunate to have the great friends and sponsors that we have. And then this, again, with the Kickass Beef Jerky Series. Kevin, it's ready to call a great finish here.
Yeah, when you talk about, people always discuss a sim racing community. This is a community. Drivers have been racing together for a decade plus, and it's great races always right down to the end, and we're about to see another one. Cole Dutton is going to lead the pack. He is riding slowly over there on the yellow line, contemplating his restart. He's got Glenn Campbell wanting that first win here of the season. He's tough hanging on the outside. He's going to pinch down to that number 2, wait for that car to twitch. He sees it. The two of them hard on the gas. Dutton again gets a great restart. He jumps in front of Glenn Campbell. He's going to lead him going into turn number 1. And I think the guy who's sneaky over there is Aaron Bennett. He's our last winner. Could he be the first 2-time repeat back-to-back winner that we've had this season?
Glenn Campbell, you can see getting a great run on the 2 car now. Dutton looking to block. Let's see the crossover. Look at the move. Glenn Campbell looked to the back, the outside. He can't make the move because Mike Kelly's there filling the slot. Glenn Campbell got a hold to the bottom of the racetrack and follow the Dutton machine through 3 and 4.
They got to pay attention. They'll get tied up with each other, and Mike Kelly will sneak to the outside and steal the win. Here comes Wortman to the bottom. He's going to make it 3 wide. Coming off of turn 4. Big wiggle by Campbell. He's able to gather it up down in that low lane. He's got Wortman behind him.
Contact.
Now they're going to make contact, and wow, Dutton, all the racetrack used over there in the tri-oval trying to keep that car off the fence, and somehow he's able to just power down and drive back out in front. Wortman down on the bottom of a 3-way sandwich. Aaron Bennett slips a little bit. Here comes Reed Rundle into the charge.
Reed Rundle, a guy who's had, we talk about having a rough night. That box of pizza is destroyed, but he's right there pushing his way in the top 5 now. Reed Rundle, it's a great run for that Little Caesars number 43.
Yeah, it looks like a takeout box being delivered in New York City.
Whoa!
This thing is crinkled and crumpled as sideways goes Campbell, and that leaves the opportunity for Mike Kelly to take evasive action. He dives down the bottom and is actually going to take advantage of driving down the banking. He's going to take the lead over there in turn number 1 to the inside of Dutton. Kelly, he is going to surge out front. Will he cover the position? It looks like he might.
Get up top.
Dutton's going to get a good run to the outside. They'll be side by side down the backstretch.
Wortman Jr. right there. He's in the 3rd spot, going to push Mike Kelly off into turn 3. Mike Kelly is looking to put an exclamation point on this championship by winning here, becoming the first 2-time winner this year, racing Cole Dutton hard as they come out of turn 3 and 4. But will Mike Kelly be able to hold him to the tri-oval?
Got 2 drivers with a win in the win column running 1 and 2. 2 drivers without a win running 3 and 4. Both of them trying to figure out how they could best their position. And a game, Aaron Bennett trying to make it 2 in a row. They roll through turns 1 and 2 in the banking, the high line, trying to get the advantage coming off. Dutton to the outside of, wow, look at the run he has. The car is going to surge ahead on the backstretch with help from Glenn Campbell and Aaron Bennett. And they are going to make a big gain as the 5 drops back on the inside lane.
Watching that 33, he is not content staying behind the 44. Every opportunity, he's looking to the inside of that 44, Glenn Campbell. But Glenn has got to, it looks like the 43 in the wall.
Yeah, Reed Rundle with trouble over there in turn number 4. He's up against the wall, but he's able to keep it straight and keep going. Everybody dodges that bullet. As the field streaks across, they're going to complete lap number 64. Now working lap number 65 out front. High up in that lane. Glenn Campbell losing a lot of ground. Bennett's going to pull through. Wortman's going to pull through. And where did he come? Chris Stouffer in 5th position. Is he going to sneak away and get one as the leaders side by side again going into turn number 3?
Mike Kelly made a little contact with the back bumper. The 2 of Cole Dutton got him a little sideways. Now Mike Kelly, if he can get to the top of the racetrack, he's going to control this race coming to the white flag.
Dutton's car wiggles. It wobbles off of turn number 4. He doesn't have that strong run to the outside like we've seen. It's the 5 of Kelly, the 33 of Bennett, the 83 of Wortman, and here comes the 2. He's recovered. Strong charge on the outside. Can he have some help from Chris Stouffer back there in 5th working? It is the final lap off of turn number 2 for the final time. The 5 of Mike Kelly's got the 33 as everybody wobbles off the back straightaway, trying to protect their groove. Where's it going to end? We have no idea.
Mike Kelly in that 5. Look, Aaron Bennett completely sideways. Contact with Wortman. Wortman's going to keep it going. Mike Kelly leads off of turn 4 now. It's going to be between the 5 and the 2. Dutton going to dump to the inside coming through the trial, Kevin.
Dutton's going to get it. He's sideways. Can he keep the car straight?
Contact!
5 and
Dutton wins.
Across sideways.
Wow.
Win. The car airborne. An incredible finish. Unbelievable. Your winner rolling down on the inside apron, and he comes to a rest on his roof.
Unbelievable finish, Kevin. Tim, in the bottom of the trial we talked about earlier, cars getting loose, and that's exactly what happened. Cole Dutton sideways into Mike Kelly, and look who comes through and sneaks in and gets the 2nd spot. Tim Wortman Jr. picks up 2nd.
And obviously a good result, but not the win for Mike Kelly as Cole Dutton becomes your first two-time winner this season. Kelly dropped the third, Campbell finished fourth, and Chris Stouffer finished in your top five. And you couldn't have asked for a more exciting finish.
That was everything that we thought we were going to get and more, I believe. Try to go back here and take a look at this finish.
And unfortunately for your winner, Cole Dutton, they're going to have to roll him back over. Wow.
What a finish.
So if we replay that, the 2 and the 5 were trying to figure out who was going to lead that high line. 2 didn't have it, went down to the bottom. Tried to use that move where he used some momentum driving down the racetrack, but unfortunately the car broke sideways and it turned back into the racetrack, caught the 5, put him in the wall, and then, well, after disposing of the 5 in the outside retaining wall, the 2 slides across for the win backwards.
What an unbelievable finish. Again, Kevin, it's Talladega at its finest here in the Beef Jerky, Kickass Beef Jerky Classic Cup Series. We'll try to get down here and get over with Mike Kelly real fast. If you don't mind, let's take a break and see a little bit about that Kickass Beef Jerky box they've got out there available here at Christmas time. Remember, 19% off if you use Sim500 as your promo code.
Have you seen my Kickass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.
Well, back at the Talladega Super Speedway for the Kickass Classic Cup Series, Kevin, we got the third place driver, Mike Kelly, up here. Mike, what a run, man. That was unbelievable there at the finish.
Boy, I did everything I could. I really bite my tongue right now. I did everything I could. I did everything right. Put myself in the perfect position and gave him room to try to make the move. I knew he wouldn't be able to make it stick down there, and I'd pull him off the tribal for the win, and he just lost it. That's the way it was. We'll pack up, take the third, and move on.
Well, a good points night for you, Mike. You came in with a pretty good size lead. Everybody you battled tonight, they had trouble. So obviously, still a third place finish. Got to be happy with it going into next week. Looking to take yet another, which you've got many championships here at Sim500, bringing home yet another title.
Yeah, it's mixed emotions right now. I'm adrenalized. You know how it is. I just saw that checker flag, but yeah, overall, excellent night. I just wanted to survive it. Like I said when I talked to you earlier, but then I had a chance to go for the win. But going across the finish line upside down is always fun, and taking the top 3, and I should be looking good going into a track that nobody's ever raced on. So it's going to be exciting next week, but I got a bit of a cushion at least, and I'm real thankful for that because I don't have a lot of luck when I go into the last race with it being real tight. I tend to get second.
Well, Kevin, anything for Mike Kelly before we let him go back to the hauler?
No, other than that had to be a complete surprise, and you cleared the 2. He got sideways. It looked like you were going to drive him, but when he came across the track, he just caught you enough to send you out. And, well, Mike, we said choose the outside line to win, and you did it, and, boy, you were close. Great run tonight.
Thanks. Yeah, I knew I didn't want to. I mean, he was fair coming down that backstretch. I made my slingshot move, and he gave me the lane, and we came out of the corner. And I knew he was going to do the same thing. And I felt like, hey, this is great because I've been getting pulled off that tri-oval all day, and I left in the room and I thought everything was good. I was starting to pull away, and then you kind of hear that engine rev sound right beside you getting closer, and you're like, oh.
I think when you look at it, you won't be disappointed. You'll know that that was just hard racing, as he did all he could to hold that car down there.
Yeah, I watched it.
When he yanked it left, it just had to correct and come back. But you do yeoman's work, Mike, every week, and no difference here. I think the field looks pretty bad. I don't know what you saw in your rearview mirror, man, but every car was smashed, but certainly paid to be out front this week.
Definitely. I got super lucky. Everything was behind me and brought it home clean except for the last couple 100 feet. But, I mean, that was really fun. I mean, these cars on this track are just a blast, man. Thanks to all you guys.
Yeah, Mike. So you have a little cushion, and look, you can never rest easy on those laurels, and we'll wish you a lot of luck for next week in the season. We're looking forward to watching you run.
Yep, never over till it's over. I look forward to putting on a good show next week. And thanks to all you guys for putting this on, and Joey for the league. Sim500 is the best out there. Looking forward to it next week. Thanks, guys.
Mike, I think
Levi
we pulled
Garrett,
off
number 5 Chevrolet.
Mike, I was going to say, I think we pulled off a broadcast without any kind of issue, so that we're doing something tonight. So I think we had a top 5 tonight, thanks to Kevin and everybody here. But good job on your finish, Kevin. Tim Wortman Jr., I know you want to talk to him. He's you mentioned the connection you guys have, but an awesome second place finish for Tim Wortman Jr.
Yeah, Tim Wortman Jr., he's down here reminiscing the race, and you got to be happy. You got your podium that you were looking for, but boy, you look like you were in line for a possible win coming in turn 3, and just trouble befell with the 33 getting sideways there on you.
That was some of the most intense last 5 laps I've had on iRacing. That was something.
Well, you stuck away with a second place finish. That's pretty good. Not a bad night's work. Did you see what was going on out in front of you? You must have seen that finish.
Yeah, I saw him start to wreck, and I put my foot in it, and I was like, I got to get to the line as fast as possible in case they don't get there. And I haven't got to see the replay yet. I'm guessing I went under Mike Kelly to get second.
Yeah, Mike's car was up in the air. You kind of bounced off the bottom of his car and set him up, and I think you beat him by a hood there going across the start finish line. But we watch you race. You're respectful. You're courteous. Sometimes the car doesn't give you what you want, but tonight a solid finish and a good way to progress through the season. Good run tonight.
Yeah, I've had fun running iRacing leagues, and especially Sim500. And whenever I come in, I race with guys every week. I give them lots of room. I'm not out here to cause accidents. I'm out here to have fun and be competitive. And the last thing I want to do is make a mistake and end somebody's night early.
So, Tim, the first time we get the chance to talk to you this season, anybody want to give a shout out to, say hello to for the broadcast?
I want to give a shout out to my dad. Tim Sr., Kevin, I know you know him. Mike talked about him a couple times tonight running in the old original NAS series way back in the day. And, we've been, as we were kind of talking tonight during caution, we were talking about Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge, and I brought up the old Indy 500 from the game from the first Pinion.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, we've been doing that and when I was a kid, we've been doing it in the household since those games. And it's kind of weird the way this year's went. COVID happening, I ended up getting myself a computer and getting on here and finally getting back into the sport.
Yeah, I've been trying to talk my son into doing it, and I have no interest in racing. But your dad, to me, is a legend. You tell him I said hi, and hope to see him around the racetrack every once in a while. And it's a lot of fun watching you race. And just keep coming back and getting the job done, Tim, like tonight. We appreciate you coming out and supporting Sim500.
I appreciate it. Hopefully Mr. Ollie will be happy with tonight's finish.
There you go. Tim Wortman Jr., second place, and strong way to finish the season for that young man. Joey, happy to see him have a good result.
Yes, Kevin, and it couldn't happen to a better guy. I'm really glad to have Tim in the league. We've talked a good bit, and I know his goals are to get out here and just, like you mentioned, not cause any problems, be consistent, get used to the car, and here he comes tonight at Talladega. Kevin, I got your winner now down in Victory Lane. Here's Cole Dutton.
Yeah, what's that on top of your helmet over there, Cole? You were sitting on your lid.
Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated. That's 2 wins I've had in this car so far, and I haven't been able to do a burnout either time because I flipped going across the line.
Yeah, the car was airborne and came to a rest over there on the roof, but that doesn't matter. You're holding the checkered flag and the trophy down here, and what a run to the bottom. And we saw the car break loose, and we thought maybe the 5 was going to sneak away and get back across the racetrack. And, well, the rest is history. We saw what happened. Is pretty spectacular as the sparks scraping off the roof over there. Did you realize whether you won or not?
Yeah, I did, and I don't like to win them like that. I hate that happened. It was just, when I made that run to the inside, it's bumpy down there, and the tires were old, and I got sideways and kind of went up into him. But yeah, we were so far ahead. I kind of knew that I'd won, but I wasn't instantly happy with how I won. But I talked to Mike, and we'll get over it, and we'll race next week.
Coming off that second turn on that final lap, you were third, almost fourth on the outside lane, and you seemed to really make that outside lane work for you. What a run you had down the back straightaway to be in contest for the win.
Yeah, I lost control of the race there with about 2 to go, and Mike was able to get a run on me. I was just getting through the corner so much better than everybody else, and it allowed people to get runs on me on the straightaways. And I think the 33 got loose going into 3, and it kind of stacked everybody up and kind of left me and Mike to settle it there. But yeah, I had a heck of a run coming off turn 2.
Well, you become the first 2-time winner in the 10 races that we've had this season. And next week, we roll into the season finale. How do you feel about your chances of coming away 3-time winner this season?
Next week's going to be kind of crazy at the new racetrack. If it was anywhere else, like we've already run, I'd feel pretty confident. But, I'm going to give it a shot.
Well, it was exciting watching you race tonight between, the early event between the attorneys, Dutton and Dalton. You guys had a good show and a good run there also with Mike at the end. And you just continue to put on a show, and we want to tell you we appreciate that.
I appreciate that, and thank you guys. You always do a great job. I'm excited to go and watch the broadcast.
Anybody want to say hello to before we send you home?
Not really. Just thank everybody here at the league for putting it on, Ricky, and you guys up in the booth, and just everybody here in the league. And it's just a lot of fun, and I hope to do more in the future.
There you go, your winner tonight in an unorthodox manner on his roof down there in turn number 1, but he came away with the checkered flag and the trophy. It's Cole Dutton, win number 2. First time repeat winner, Joey. And yeah, he earned it. What a hard race all night long for that number 2 car.
Well, he was there all night, Kevin. It wasn't a fluke for the 2 car. As Cole Dutton's a front runner every week here, but it was something to him, Mike Kelly, those 2 cars. It just was fitting that they were the ones battling out for the win tonight. Unfortunate for Mike Kelly, but again, you got to look at the positive. He rolls in next week with a big points lead, and everybody's right now they're I guess they're confident we're going to Coca-Cola. I don't know for sure that we're going to have that track. So it will be surprising where we wind up next week and where Mike Kelly's got to go and finish this thing off and bring that championship home.
Yeah, it's a roll of the dice. If you had a preference, if it's not going to be Coca-Cola, what track would you stick in there?
Man, I tell you, I don't know. Honestly, I would have said Talladega would have been the place you'd want to finish this thing up with everything this car does here. But I don't know. I mean, Michigan would be somewhere if you're really looking to go out with a bang. I think I'd choose Michigan. How about you, Kevin?
I think I would head to California.
Even better. I mean,
that track produces spectacular racing for these. And, I want to take a moment to just recap. We said who the top 5 was. 7th or 6th place finish, Shannon Wood. He had a good race all night long in the 0-2. Aaron Bennett, if that little trouble didn't encounter, he might have come away with the win. He finished 7th. 8th was Reed Rundle. Ricky Harden hung in there for a 9th place finish. 10th was Scott Simley. And I want to give a call to Tyler Dutton. 13th for Tyler Dutton. And he just continued to soldier on. He was 4 laps down, but he passed quite a few cars there, Joey. And who knows, that might end up helping him in the championship final next week.
Never give up. You never know what's going to happen. And again, like we talked about, we don't know where we're going to finish the season up. So it's going to be a heck of a show next week. Can't wait to see how it turns out.
Well, Talladega, 66 laps in the books. Your winner tonight, Cole Dutton, Tim Wertman in second. Tim Wertman Jr. and Mike Kelly, your points leader, pads his point lead to finish the season. And we head into next week's season finale. And maybe it'll be Coca-Cola or maybe it'll be somewhere else. We'll find out when we get here. And we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Follow Sim500 on the Sim500 network, both on Facebook, on YouTube. Check us out, sim500.com. If you want to race, we got racing going on, Joey, all season long through the winter. And also we're going to fire up series like we always do come February to run through the Cup Series season.
7 nights a week of racing. Don't ask me what we're doing here and why we're doing it, but come to Sim500. It's extremely good competition. We have just about everything. We just finished up with some dirt stuff. We're really excited here on December, real fast, 21st will be the second annual Snowball Derby presented by Patriot Fire. So we're excited about that. That's going to be a free entry fee to get into that series. Or into that race with a payout. So it's going to be exciting. We just finished up the All-American 200 thanks to the guys that our sponsors have put that on. So, yeah, come check us out, sim500.com.
Yeah, and you got to say thanks to Trans Service, Patriot Fire, OSRN, SRS, SSS Speed Shop, and, of course, our title sponsor for this series, Kickass Beef Jerky. Remember, KickassBeefJerky.com, 19% off. Use Sim500 as your promo code. Go do a little holiday shopping. And Joey, fun race tonight. Looking forward to see how the season finale ends up. And I'm going to kind of be sad to close this all down. I've really enjoyed these Thursday night races with the 87 mod.
Yes, and Kevin, I'm going to tell you, it's been fun. I want to thank you for working with me. It's been great. I want to thank Paul Strickland, Vidane TV, Paul's first class with his broadcasting. We're excited to have him at Sim500 for this year and more into 2021 as they are signed up to do the Trans Service Cup Series. But like I said, here I am. I should have been out there sideways and in the wall early on myself. Instead, I'm up here producing and in the booth with you. It was a great see, Kevin. I've appreciated this time with you. Hopefully, I'm not here with you next week. Hopefully, we have Paul back. But if not, I'll see you then. But I've had a great time tonight.
You really enjoyed it, so it's time for us to shut the lights off and close down here at Talladega Superspeedway. We hope you enjoyed tonight's event and appreciate you coming and supporting the Sim500 network. For Joey Jatina, my name is Kevin England. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you next time on the Sim500 network.
Have you seen my Kickass subscription box anywhere? Oh, there it is.